Welcome to the Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Vantage Fit, the all-in-one AI-powered corporate wellness platform developed by Vantage Circle.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast. I'm your host Parishmita with another exciting topic. A well-planned meal plays a crucial role in eliminating and preventing health ailments related to lifestyle diseases. And for corporates, health and wellness of the employees is a long-term investment to reduce healthcare costs and for insurances if they're hale and hearty. Today we have Anjan Goswami as the guest speaker, who is a certified lifestyle, fitness, nutrition and corporate wellness coach, to speak on the topic eating habits at the workplace. Hello Anjan, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
We are so glad to have you here.
Yes.
Let's discuss without any further delay.
Definitely.
So the first question to you is what does eating healthy at workplaces implies? And why does the office need to promote it?
Yeah, eating at the workplace, it's always a very difficult topic to think about because there are so many aspects to be considered in this. Healthy eating, for example, it comprises of two parts. First is choosing the right food and second is timeliness. People have different eating patterns, especially in terms of meal timing. Somebody wakes up late, somebody would wake up earlier, somebody would have their day scheduled in a certain way. So, I'm talking more in terms of someone working in the corporate or any sector for that matter. So when we look at any workplace environment, it does not run as per the timings of an individual. It cannot run that way, of course. So people have to adjust. And that is where I believe the problems begin. Although it sounds, when we talk about getting lunch from home, for example, or getting something with no dressing salad kind of a thing at the cafeteria, but it is not so simple. It requires a lot of planning. It requires a lot of preparation. So, and first and foremost, one has to be ready to do it. You have to make up your mind that you are going to look at food in a very different way. It's not just something that you are not surviving to eat, really. You are eating to survive. That kind of, you understand the difference, right? So once you make up your mind, then that's when comes the next part, the key points to be understood when we talk about eating healthy at the workplace. So first would be you need to know how you can plan your daily meals. There is always a certain amount of gap that you should keep between all the three major meals. Ideally, between breakfast and lunch, you should have about 4 to 6 hours of gap.
Mm-hmm.
Then between lunch and dinner, you should have about 6 to 8 hours of gap. And then dinner and next day's breakfast should be within about 12 hours. That's how a good ideal body clock will work. And that's how you should also feed or fuel up your body.
Mm.
The next part, when we do this, is your calendar itself, your work calendar.
Mm.
How is your day scheduled? Can you schedule things as per your meal timing? Or if not, how do you adjust?
Mm-hmm.
And the last, third point, which is also the last point, is you need to know what are your alternatives. Say, sometimes I am following a certain kind of diet and I am supposed to eat, say, a sandwich in the afternoon,
mm-hmm.
but I'm in such a place where this is not available. I should know what should be my alternative in that case so that I don't end up mismatching my overall food habit altogether. So it's not necessary to eat perfect home-cooked roti, sabji, dal kind of lunch, or nor is it necessary to starve, if you do not get the right time to eat food, even if it is home-cooked or wherever you get it from. So if there is a meeting scheduled at a regular lunchtime, for example, then what you can do is grab some easy snack maybe, which is not too oily, not fried, not sweet and all, but some regular food item that you can just have before the meeting. Then you can carry maybe a plain water to the meeting. You can carry a cup of juice to the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
That does not really hamper neither the integrity of the meeting, nor it does not, I believe it should not make anybody feel different about it, if you're just drinking something.
Yeah.
And then after the meeting, you can probably have something just to complete your overall portion of your lunch meal. Then again, going after the meeting, since I did not have my lunch on time, let me go and finish my lunch on time. So you see, time plays a very big role. More than like what you are exactly eating, it is also important to figure out when are you eating a food. So this is an adjustment that you make, eat a little bit before the meeting, eat a little bit after the meeting, and your lunch is in totality, it's done. So it can be that kind of a thing. If you do not get time or you do not get a chance to eat food at your given time, So a lot of times people end up making compromises rather than making this kind of an adjustment. They will compromise, say, all right, I didn't get a chance to eat my meal. Let's skip it. I don't want to be untimely. I'll skip it altogether, which is actually worse. You need food. Food is energy for your body, right? That's fuel for you to go on. So you cannot skip. It's not an answer. So nor is it like, I did not get a chance to eat food. Let me have something really quick. I'll go order a burger from, say, Burger King and have it. Again, that also does not make any sense. You might as well eat your regular lunch at that point in time, because that's all the amount of time that you will take, really. So, I mean, healthy eating is, that's what the choice of food plus the timeliness, that is what it is made of. And that's where we also make our compromises or adjustments, as the case may be. So it's the same at the workplace, because workplace time is not in your hands. You have the choice of food and you have the choice of adjustment.
Yeah.
So you also asked about promoting healthy eating.
Yeah.
I mean, it is necessary everywhere, especially after the pandemic. I guess we have all learned a hard lesson about this, right? The subject, say, when we talk about corporate wellness for that matter, it should not be looked at as another mechanism for making profit in an organization. It's an investment in a very different direction. So it is, I believe it should be done for the people working there so that they can give their best output. So it invariably has a secondary impact on the revenues and profits. It is an investment on the employees, and the ROI returns can be calculated in terms of the effectiveness and the efficiency that the employees would bring in at work after, once if they are very healthy, if they are fit and fine, you would cut down on things like absenteeism. You should cut down on issues of presenteeism. So these things are very highly visible nowadays, especially when people are starting to go back to work. So these things happen. So if you're looking at good performance, so you need to make sure, you need to consider this fact. A person who spends about 8 to 10 hours at the workplace on an average, and that will include at least one major meal in the day. So if maybe what the workplace can do in terms of promoting some form of health aspect to this entire thing is, they can probably set a particular meal time. During this time, no important meetings should be scheduled unless some emergency drops in, which is a different thing. So that's one thing you can do. Unlike maybe the overall ecosystem, the ambience of the workplace can be in such a way, like you would post, put up posters everywhere. You would send out regular emails. You would conduct certain events at the workplace. So all of these things which can promote health in different ways. Sometimes the problem is it's a very boring field of work, and there is no tangible benefit that you see out of it. Difficult part is it is inevitable. You have to do it somewhere. So, that is what promoting health at the workplace, that the office can do all these things, like set up a certain timeline, make sure the person gets adequate amount of free time at some point in time, so that that person gets a chance to recharge, feel rejuvenated, eat some food, get fueled up. That's a good idea, actually. And it works.
It is like promoting also, like prioritizing employees' health also, right?
Yes, they feel that inclusiveness.
Yes, absolutely. So in the first part of the question, you said about time as a factor. Don't you think place is also a factor, like availability of healthy? You can find junks everywhere, right?
Oh, yes.
Even if you go down to your store next to your building where you work, all you can find is chips and everything. So I think place and emphasizing on healthy foods everywhere is also equally important, so that people can easy access to it, right?
Absolutely. Like not everybody carries lunch from home, and not everybody is really alert about what are you going to eat if you are extremely hungry and you have just 10 minutes of time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Easily available food item is a bag of chips. Then, somebody save you from that.
Yes, absolutely. Like this is an everyday thing that happens to us also, right? So I thought of sharing it.
No, you are right. Absolutely. Availability and the location, yes, it makes a lot of difference.
So, Anjan, which healthy habits should be encouraged at the workplace?
See, when you talk about habits, habit is a completely personal trait. It is not that it can be influenced by a rule. Say, for example, when you used to go to school, right? It's not a habit that we used to wear the uniform. We were supposed to wear the uniform, else we would not be allowed to enter the school campus, maybe. I mean, so that versus, no, I will every day make sure that I'll polish my own shoes and iron my own shirt and pant and then wear and go to school in a prim and proper way. It's not that. There is a difference. I mean, you cannot be really pushed to be habituated about certain things.
Yeah.
So, if we talk about eating habits that can be encouraged, I think you can only set an example and send reminders. So, in fact, like if you look at it, food habit is probably the most difficult habit to get a hold on. Really, if you have a sweet tooth, you have a sweet tooth, and you will give that excuse everywhere to eat sweets.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely, yes.
So sometime back, like we keep, I run Mind Your Fitness, right, as an organization. So we keep getting involved with a lot of corporates about working under cafeteria menu at times, or about food habits of people, or like many other ways of fitness and health as well. So what we see is the usual victims of bad eating habits, or let me call it poor food habits, are the people who have an erratic sleeping pattern. Like they sleep very late at night, so they will wake up late and their entire cycle is in a mess. Or, people who are single, they do not have a family, so they have the they believe they have the liberty to just have anything at home, anything at the refrigerator, and keep it ready for eats. Or sometimes it is also people who have an attitude problem. Why I say this is because it's true. However, many times somebody tells me like, Anjan, you should not be eating chips in the evening every day after you come back from work. What the hell? Like, why should I be listening to you? I did my hard work all day. I have earned my bag of chips. I did not. You see what I mean? That's an attitude problem. I'm not willing to listen to good advice. Maybe I'm frustrated for whatever reason, like whatever that is. But the thing is, I am mistreating myself that way eventually. So this is what I believe eating habits at the workplace can be like. So, when I was in IT, I was there for about 12, 13 years. So I have traveled to many countries because of my role, and I'm still actually a foodie. So in some places I have seen that I go to an office cafeteria, the choices are very few.
Yeah.
I realized because at that time, this is about say 15 years back or so, I am at the peak of my life, right? Full of energy. I just need, that need for good food, different food, a choice of different food things. So that kind of a time. So I could only appreciate few items on that menu, and there was no junk food. They would have on their menu cereals and salads, smoothies, and maybe juices. So like that. So on asking, so what I figured out is most people who do not visit the cafeteria because they know what is available, they go. There used to be a Papa John's corner. It's a pizzeria.
Okay.
So people would go there for lunch. I mean, that's in the US. I won't name the company right now, but then this is what happens. Very few people would bring food from home. Very few remaining would be eating at the cafeteria, but a larger portion would go to the Papa John's where they get pizza and other fast food, and along with their choice of sodas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, food habits, that's how people work. People at work are. So since they I said meal timing is important. We talked about this, like standardizing the meal timing wherein every employee gets a chance to eat together and they have a free time, no stress at that time, no running around to be done. So that really helps because then people are together. They can actually chit chat, catch up, socialize, and they spend some quality time together at a cafeteria itself, whether they eat their own food or the good food that is available at the cafeteria. So socialization, giving that chance of socialization makes a lot of difference, and that should definitely be encouraged in some way. I mean, we cannot force this kind of a habit at the workplace because different people have, or different organizations have different culture. But there can be some common ground somewhere. And we do this. We actually do this kind of analysis when we visit a organization. And we figure out somewhere. We always find a solution, actually.
Yeah.
Another important thing that people really miss out while at office is water consumption. And that actually forms a very large portion of your overall nutrition plan. We are about 60% water.
Yeah.
Our bodies are made up about 60% water. So just think about how important it is. Like it is responsible for so many of our life functions. Just we are staying alive. We can stay alive by drinking water, actually, if required. And it doesn't even figure out in a list of priorities at the workplace. It's just taken for granted that you are carrying water bottles. All right, so whenever it's over, go refill and have it again. But you are not really taking a note, making a conscious effort to drink water throughout. So I think, in a nutshell, the best an organization should do is send out regular reminders, send out messages through various media. Like it can be online media, it can be offline media. You can have a small, halla bol kind of a thing. Like it need not be that chaotic, but something like that. Department. Conduct a fun at work event like we do at different places where we do a lot of health workshops, but it's in a fun sense of the matter. So these things are things that can be actually done from the organization point of view.
Absolutely. Like food is actually the fuel to the body. So keeping healthy food options for munching are like very vital for achieving good health. Even fruits and nuts are also healthy options one can keep, right?
Yes, absolutely. They're one of the best options, actually.
So I agree with you, about the fact that we should set reminders what to eat, and also about the availability of food in our canteens or wherever it is. It should be, always healthy options should be there. I believe so. Yeah.
Yes, true, totally.
So Anjan, do workplaces influence how people eat? Like we have been talking about this, like binge eating while at stress or excess caffeine to de-stress and etc. etc.
See, I won't say, I don't think it would be right to say that the workplace would influence somebody's eating habit. As I said we just discussed about this, like habit is something very personal. Nobody can really influence you to do it unless it's a very lavish, lucrative option that somebody gets. But then no, I don't think workplaces influence people. However, workplaces create the situations for people to change their habits. Say, different situations at work can lead to different levels of mental stress. Okay, and when you are stressed, your body undergoes a lot of changes hormonally inside. So it actually can trigger a ruthless process of unhealthy eating. So it's commonly known as the stress hormone, the cortisol. When cortisol levels in the body increase, it can lead to a higher state of being. You feel very energetic. You are feeling very, what can I say? The only word I can think of is macho, but it's not the right word. You're feeling supreme, actually. It gives you that state of being. And it also impedes your ability of decision making. To a good extent. Your brain is kind of clouded at that time because there is so many things jumbled up and you are just high on energy at that time. It triggers a feeling of hunger for more palatable foods. So foods that you would love to eat, you would always crave for. Say, I love to eat pastries, but because of my health plan, I have not been eating pastries for the past 2 months. and just know it's the limit. I have reached the limit today and I am going to eat pastries. I'll end up eating 3 pastries maybe. That is what stress does. That is what stress eating actually can be, It, even in many ways, caffeine also acts that way. It's a stimulant, right? That's why people take coffee so many times to stay alert and all. But it's a stimulant at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it gives you that unnatural high, and you end up doing things which you would be sorry for much later. When you move on the weighing scale, and the scale moves quite a bit.
Yeah.
But then, still the most significant thing about eating is timing. And the choice of food is usually a personal choice. So, and meal timing is a factor of the amount of work that is there and other aspects that form your overall routine in the day, or especially at the workplace. And it's not always possible to control your work timings at an individual level.
Yeah.
This is where the workplace can actually take up initiatives towards the general health of employees by setting up a standard meal time, which we talked about some time back. So when when I go for seminars and talks at different companies, people talk about not getting enough time to eat.
Yeah.
They always have this thing, time nahi mila. I didn't get that chance. I couldn't eat today. I didn't have a proper meal. I brought lunch from home but didn't get a chance. So all these things are there. So they would always end up opting for the more convenient choices at hand, which is junk food or fast food. They will carry Snickers or certain other chocolates and sweets, which are easy to carry, it doesn't take much time to eat, and you still feel that high. You get the kick out of junk food and the sugars that are available in so many of these kind of food items, right? As you said sometime back, the availability and access to fast food is also there.
Yeah.
So if your cafeteria serves these kind of food items, nothing wrong with the cafeteria, people eat. So it's a supply, demand and supply thing. So let's not go there. But then at the end of the day, these are not the best things you can have for yourself. Maybe once in a while is fine, but not on a regular basis. So, see, workplace is not a primary influencer of your eating habits, but it does control a lot of things that define your eating habits. See, actually, when we were just talking now, I realize, more than anything else, what really influences you at the workplace is the people you hang around with. A lot of times, what do you do? When you have a group of people, everybody has a group, right, at workplace. It might be a smaller group, it might be a cultural group, it might be a regional group, it might be any group, whatever that is. There are groups in the workplaces. And what do? You celebrate, you eat out, you hang out for drinks, you go to movies, and plenty of fun and good fun, right? But all these fun times, what do you eat, right? Yeah. So that's where the problem is. See, I remember when I used to work, there are sometimes we would be fighting a deadline, and we would end up staying back at work late, in fact, until mornings. And there is nothing to eat. I was a bachelor then. Nobody would help me with food. And we were just starting off in our career. So not so much of money that we will be going out, getting food, good places and all this stuff. But the choices are very limited to, pizzas and burgers and parathas, and all that would come along with that would be maybe a half-liter bottle of Coke or something.
Oh, yeah.
I have actually had one large pizza and a bottle of Coke once all by myself, I remember. And then I ended up working all night. But I was, that's 2007 maybe? 8?
Yeah.
I don't remember. So I could pull it off, but not anymore. I reached 90 kgs mark on the weighing scale. But then fortunately it's a past now, it's history. But it should not be the present for anybody today. That's a eating habit. It was myself I was to be blamed, right? There was nobody else who pushed me to eat one large pizza by myself. But I did.
Yes.
And that's what it is. So, influencers are, the workplace is definitely not an influencer, but it gives you enough opportunities to get influenced or to change your habit.
Yeah. It's especially you ask a woman about hormonal change, binge eating. That's the thing, right?
Oh, true. That's true.
And stress, of course.
we cannot even imagine how much we are controlled by hormones. These are those small tiny chemical particles in the body. They define how we behave.
Yeah.
And eating is a behavior itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, would you like to recommend some tips for snacks to keep at work, or suggest some ways to promote healthy eating and well-being at work?
Yes, snacks. This is one of my favorite items everywhere.
Yeah.
And people really get very... I think they look at me with nervous eyes, and somebody even feels like stabbing eyes at me. So see, snacks are foods that exist because you do get untimely hunger pangs, or you cannot afford to eat a whole meal, right? Those food that you wedge in at different time intervals into your tummy are the snacks, really. So it's sometimes difficult to survive without snacks at regular intervals because of the way we are. I mean, our lifestyle works, our mechanism works. So, but while doing so, we tumble over the boundaries of binge eating and junk foods and overeating. So we do not even realize when did we cross that level. So the thing is, you don't really need snacks if you have had a good meal. Your portion is perfect as per your requirement, as per your physical activities during the day, as per your body size, body weight, medical conditions. Everything is balanced. You have a nutritious diet at the right meal timings again. Then you will probably not even require snacks. You see, in olden times, nobody would care for a snack really. People only used to eat those 3 meals, and those are heavy, good, solid meals. But yeah, snacks, they are a part of routine, and we better accept it. So awareness about snacks is more important. I mean, how much of food is required, when is it required, and also about do you really need it, or are you really hungry, or are you actually thirsty? Because you have food easily available, you end up eating rather than drinking water. These are certain conditions that are true, and they exist everywhere. So all of these things make you decide or choose what should you be eating besides your major meals, in the day. So let's assume we have it all figured out, we have all it sorted, and we still need to pick up the snacks for the day. So what do you do in that case? Some healthy choices are there. Actually, there are plenty of healthy choices, things that you can easily carry to your workplace, and they won't get soggy, they won't get spoiled and all. So, say ideal snacks would be things which would be low in calories, very less amount of oils, low on sugar. So what do you get? Things like fruit salad, very nice snack, really. The fruits that do not get spoiled through the day, you can carry them in a tiffin box and have it. You can add masala to make it tastier, garnish it the way you want. Yeah. But that's a very healthy option. If not a salad, you can even have a whole fruit for that matter. Nuts, you mentioned about nuts. Very true. Nuts can be a very good snack. The problem with nuts is sometimes it's addictive. Yeah. You end up eating a lot. So you need to know how much to carry, really. A handful is good enough to keep you going for some time, and then you can just move on. Once you get engrossed in work, you would not feel the hunger, but a handful is actually enough. Another good option about nuts is maybe you can take those packs of trail mix that you get, different nuts that are there, along with some smaller items, daily food items. Then you have those cereal-based food items like the puffed rice or beaten rice. Yeah. Add that mixed cornflakes kind of items. Boiled eggs sometimes are a very good snack. They are again not superbly high in calories, but really healthy options. You can carry smoothies. Smoothies are good. You can carry that in a nice, good stainless steel container. It won't get spoiled actually for quite a few hours. These are some good snack options, that you can really carry to work. And if you are working from home, I think the options actually double up probably. And there are so many options. You wouldn't be worried about something getting spoiled or something becoming soggy through the day. And you can have more number of items actually. You can keep munching on cucumber, cut a slice of cucumber and dip it in a little bit of salt and pepper. It actually tastes good. Yeah. It gives you an amount of water and as well as a good amount of sodium as well, like to keep you going. Similarly, when we make diet plans, we sometimes recommend people to have, say, carrot sticks, dip it in peanut butter and eat. Gives you that protein as well as the freshness from carrots. It's good. It's crunchy. It makes you feel good. It's a nice snack, really.
Absolutely.
Just to summarize, I would say, like snacks, as I mentioned, these names, these are good options. Just avoid processed foods and preserved foods, things that are packaged, that you get ready-made. These are things to be avoided as snacks or even otherwise. Other cases, all natural products are good. They can be considered as good snacks.
So how can employers promote eating healthy habits in the workplace? And what would you like to suggest to our listeners?
All right. Promoting eating habits in the workplace, I would say eating actually leads to a lot of positive or negative impacts onto your day-to-day matters, how you are, how you get up in the day, how you are moving throughout the day. So eating habits make a lot of difference. People actually know right from wrong, and it's just the execution where things fall flat, right? So we normally consider, like I would say, just cite an example where we conduct some activities in corporates where we plan things like make your own salad or a smoothie or even a cocktail for that matter, but knowing we'll give the limitations, like the salad should include these kind of nutrients or a smoothie should be X amount of calories. All these things would be specified. So which actually interests the people, the employees, and they get to learn in the process. What happens is when you keep conducting such kind of events over time, people get in that groove. And eventually they end up spreading the word. And that is how it works. You cannot force somebody to eat different, but you can keep giving them those subtle hints time and again, which help. So I think take help of professionals when it comes to encouraging eating habits in the workplace. I mean, you need to know what is to be said, what has to be recommended. And it's a different subject altogether, nutrition, when it comes to it. A lot of people follow diet plans or take up habits by following the internet or just following somebody else. It's not recommended. What is good for one person may not be good for somebody else. There is no one size fit all kind of a concept here. So take help. There are conduct events, keep sending reminders, check out posters and messages and convey to the employees time and again. So, and to sum it up, like what would I suggest? Like 2 minutes summary, if I have to say. See, health, it's a personal thing completely. It's a necessity for everyone, individuals or companies or groups, everyone. And it's also the most important slip in everybody's life. People normally forget about it. Given a choice, people would not go to the gym. They would ignore the healthy eating options. And we are focused on the immediate pleasures so much that we tend to forget about our physical and mental fitness, the signs that we get. So it's not that a business needs to make profits and or make higher revenues and all. It's something that is there. It's a business goal. It's an ambition of a corporate. But then you should look at things where employees are fit into the bigger scheme of matters.
Yeah.
When we look at work-life balance, we rarely find a balance. We are all striving to force fit a balance with compromised life so many times.
Yeah.
So employers should actually understand that providing vents or areas for employees to free themselves up time to time will actually lead to better performances. Happy employees say they have a better vision of teamwork, positivity, business goals.
Yeah.
They contribute much better. So I would say invest in employees on the personal front by keeping them healthy mentally as well as physically.
Yeah.
And you get two of the biggest returns in terms of reduction in absenteeism and presenteeism.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming to our show. It was wonderful having you here, and thank you for sharing so much of valuable insights with us. I hope our listeners will be benefited from this session.
Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast. please do subscribe to Vantage Fit Corporate Wellness Podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and our YouTube channel for new episodes.